Thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker, and it's great to be able to rise to our feet to show yet another issue that the National Party has been in pursuit of being delivered, which is the change to the Foreign Investment Review Board guidelines. Now, so often, Mr Deputy Speaker, I rise to my feet to say, look, the issue with the Labor Party is they just don't have any policies. The only thing they can ever do is comment on our policies, our agricultural policies, because they just don't have any. They don't have any. But today that is not the case, because we do have a difference in policy. We do. See, we believe that the Australian people have a right to review when an individual from overseas buys a property worth $15 million or more. That's our view. We believe that people have a right to know because it is their nation. It is their nation. It is their nation. But, and the Labor Party have a position too, and to the people of Canning, I hope you hear this. The Labor Party believe that you don't have the right to know until that purchase goes over $1,000 million. So in Canning, a person from overseas can buy the north of the electorate on Monday, the south of the electorate on Tuesday, the west of the electorate on Wednesday, and the east of the electorate on the next day, and it never has to go to the Foreign Investment Review Board. Never has to go there. Well, this is a difference, and this is a sign that the Labor Party, when it comes to agricultural land in this nation, has just completely and utterly lost the plot and is obviously not talking to the people on the land. They want to know. They have a right to know. It is, after all, their country. It is, after all, their country. And even today, we've had the Shadow Minister at the dispatch box talking about concern about Asian investment. It's not the Asian Investment Review Board, it's the Foreign Investment Review Board. He's deliberately, once again, stoking the fires that he has started. Fires that you can see in the Weekly Times today, where they're saying, "Save the FDA, save the FDA, save the FDA." I should save the FDA. And of course, who does not want to have a free trade agreement? Who has been ambiguous at best about a free trade agreement with China? Our biggest agricultural trading partner. Well, it's the Labor Party. The Labor Party. Standing in the way of our negotiations with our biggest trading partner. And it is not just the tariffs that will be removed if we get this through, it's also the sentiment. It's also the sentiment, and that's just as powerful. And I thought that someone from the Labor right would have the capacity to stand up in their caucus and take on those former grandchildren of the BLF, take on those grandchildren of the BLF, and make sure that this free trade agreement goes through. But of course, you won't do that because you don't have the ticker. You don't have the ticker to take them on. You don't have the ticker to take them on. So here we are. We are supporting, making sure that that once upon, I'm proud to say it is a policy that the National Party has been pursuing, and it's great to see it delivered, that the Australian people will have the right to review for land that over a value of $15 million, which is purchased, not banned, reviewed. That's right. Reviewed. And it'll be able to be paid for if there's lots of people. You're saying lots and lots of people coming to buy land. Well, I'm not surprised. It's a great asset. That's why the ABARES today has told us that gross agricultural output will go up by 8%. Remarkable. What a marvellous government. What a great outcome. What a great outcome. Somebody must be doing something right. Somebody must be doing something right. And of course it is. Let's go through some of the pertinent details of this. Of course, when you say that the United States, you're dead right. In some states in the United States, foreigners are not allowed to buy land at all. Just not allowed. If I go to China, you can't buy land at all. Not allowed. Not even their own people. If you go to Japan, can't buy it. Korea, can't buy it. Indonesia, highly restricted. Even New Zealand, vastly more restricted than Australia. Australia remains the most liberal country on earth. And I think the Australian people have a right to know what is happening in their country. And we are going to give them that right. And the people who are standing in the way of that right, the people who want to change it so that you don't know, to keep it hidden from you, it's the Australian Labor Party. Right. Isn't it bizarre? Of all the things, they have one position where they want to block the Chinese free trade agreement, and we know exactly why they're doing it. It's just dog whistle politics. We know exactly why you're doing it. Yet on the other instances, when we say the Australian people have a right to know, no, they don't believe in that. Don't tell the Australian people. No, don't let them know. This bill, Mr Deputy Speaker, comes in three parts. Obviously, the first one is the reduction in thresholds, and one part of that is also agribusiness, because agribusiness is, by its own function, has the capacity to dominate large sections of an agricultural precinct. If you control a sugar mill, you naturally enough control all the sugar farms around it, because they don't have the capacity just to pick up their product and take it to somewhere else. It's vitally important. If you can control an abattoir in a certain area, you might control a certain line of cattle that certain people produce, and that can have major effects. If you control certain strategic assets in certain areas, dairy production facilities, inherently, ipso facto, you have control over the farms. And we've seen this certainly, and it's probably best example is in railway lines. That once people have control of the railway line, they just keep on putting up the prices to take the margin from all the people who have to move their produce by rail. And we don't want that. It's not good for our economy. It's not good for our economy. We want to make sure that we have a strong economy, and we want to make absolutely certain that the Australian people know what is going on. So we are going. So in the passage of this, we have already started, as of the 1st of July. The Australian Taxation Office will be starting to deliver the information so the Australian people can see basically who owns what.
There's too much.
And that will either dispel people's concerns, or maybe in some instances could confirm people's concerns.
Throw them both out.
Because if it's one of the most sacred duties we have, is the proper oversight and control of the land we stand on. I think that is a sacred responsibility. And it is a responsibility that is conveyed to us up and down throughout the countryside. And it's a concern that we have taken through in this process to make sure that there is better transparency. And one of the inceptions of this process was the cohabitation issue, and this was then brought forward as an issue to try to make sure that that those concerns that were evident in the past are dealt with, because that's what you do in government. You try to deal with concerns. But I'm still waiting for a policy from the Australian Labor Party on agriculture.
Don't hold your breath.
Still waiting.
Don't hold your breath.
They say it's so important, but we have never had any policy. They can comment on our policies because we've got them. We've got the white paper. We've got the white paper. We've got the white paper. It's out there. We are changing farm management bonds to $800,000. We are going to allow people to offset them against the loan that they've got. We are making sure that we have the capacity to pull more of our product through by making sure that we have in countries such as China, such as Thailand, such as Korea, the capacity to draw our product through by investing in the resources in those countries, so that we can deal with the issues of bringing. And he keeps on interjecting, Mr. Deputy Speaker, because he's got nothing.
Don't listen to him.
So, what we have, and this is, I'll take the interjection, Mr. Deputy Speaker. He's so concerned that the National Party would go into bat for our constituents and deliver a great coalition agreement, an agreement that gets more for our people.
That's right.
It's more than what you of the Labor Party right, or that's what you used to be a member of. The Labor Party right.
I won't take the.
This is something. Don't allow the objection. This is something that is I know how upset you are to turn on the television set and find once more the National Party going to bat for their people.
That's right.
Going to bat for their people. I know how galling that must be when you're standing there going to bat for the Greens, going to bat for Get Up, and going to bat for the BLF. Norm Gallagher's grandson. When are you going to have the ticker to stand up to your people and get the Chinese free trade agreement through? When are you going to do it? When are you going to? If you can do one thing, for agriculture, it would be to get that through. It is the only part of your portfolio that you actually can be relevant, and you can be relevant today. You can come to the dispatch box today and say that you are going to make sure that the Chinese free trade agreement goes through. You can stand in line with the National Farmers Federation, the Victorian Farmers Federation, the Tasmanian farming groups, AgForce. You can stand in line with Jay Weatherable, with Anastasia Palaszczuk, you can stand in line with the Premier of Victoria, Daniel Andrews. Or you can stand in line with them and with our nation and get this agreement through, or you can stand in line with the BLF. You can make that choice today. And if you've got the ticker, if you've got the ticker to do it, you will do it. If you've got the ticker, you will do it.
I think we should.
But I don't
we
think
should
you've got
begin
the
to
ticker.
refer to the bill.
Yeah, I think. Well, it's about, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, this is about changing about foreign investment, and of course we're open for foreign investment. We want foreign investment. We want the proper review of foreign investment. We want to make sure that not only is there foreign investment going into our nation, but that we have the capacity to export our product from our nation. Now, if in the near future, because this has got to go through by Christmas, the Chinese Free Trade Agreement has got to be finalised by Christmas, and we do not have that many more weeks in this parliament, we are relying on the cooler heads, the sensible heads in the Labor Party to stand up for common sense. And if there's one person, if there's one portfolio that has that responsibility, it is agriculture. But we have not heard a whisper out of the member for Hunter about trying to get the Chinese Free Trade Agreement through. We've had commentary on our policies because he's got none. Commentary on our policies because he's got none. He's sitting out there like a babbling brook. He's got commentary on our policies because he's got none, but he doesn't have the ticket to stand up where it really matters. So, in conclusion, Mr. Deputy Speaker, we are proud of the changes that are coming about to our Foreign Investment Review Board guidelines, because we believe in the right of the Australian people to understand who owns what. And we have reacted to what they have asked of us. And we have delivered by bringing about these changes. And we will soon be able to, it'll be able to be discernible for all, like the Terragallic map, which you get when you're in Queensland, which notes all properties, about who owns what. We believe it is their right. And I think actually you support that. You support that section. And it's already, the process has already started. But we also believe in this bright agricultural future, the biggest turnaround in agricultural soft commodity prices in my living memory. Something that this government can actually deliver. Something that you have been nothing but obstructionists about. Something that you have done nothing for. But what I can point to, I can point to two things straight off the cuff. If you want to know about Labor Party policies, I'll give you the two big ones. They banned the live cattle exports and absolutely destroyed the cattle industry. And absolutely destroyed the cattle industry. And you think they would learn their lesson. And then they said, oh no, that was in the past. That will never happen again. We'll never do that again. We've learned our lesson. We'd never be that destructive. We'd never be that obstructive. We'd never be such dilettantes that we would make something so make such a catastrophically stupid mistake ever again. And here they are. They're back into it. Where they are now is they're about to stop the Chinese Free Trade Agreement. Why? Because they want to stand up for the BLF and they don't want to stand up for the Australian people.
Hear, hear.